remember some of you telling me that you felt like season 1 had some really slow moments, and I think this episode might be what some of you guys were talking about, but I don't consider it slow. I just feel like it's a way to develop the storyline farther, and I think from your tweets and comments, everyone liked this episode and you like this season so far. At least I think you do. Thumbs up if you do. But I think we were all right about Audrey being blackmailed, and honestly, even though some of you disagree with me, I still think she did kill some people last season, but she's not doing it at all this season. She kind of wants to redeem herself. I mean, the killer was even referring to her as killer. So we see her back in that storage unit with Jake's body, and she's trying to get rid of the evidence because her name is like literally, what do you call it? What are those little things? Thumbtacked to his body, which is creepy. So she doesn't want to be a part of this anymore, but the killer definitely wants to, you know, he's got her so he can blackmail her. He or she can blackmail her, and like she kind of has to do what this person wants because they have a lot of dirt on her. So I think we were totally right about that. So Emma's dad plays a pretty big role in this episode, and I definitely think it's a red herring. There were times last season where I thought maybe he could be involved, but I'd love to know what you think. Do you think he could be involved? I really don't think so. I think just like we noticed last season, there's going to be a lot of red herrings, and I think they do a really good job with that, and I think that he is one of them. So, Audrey and Noah go to look at this storage facility. Now, Noah, to me, is still #1 suspect. I just think they're implicating him in the smartest of ways, and if you pay close attention, I feel like he's definitely shady looking, but it's not overly obvious, and anyone who is overly obvious shady, like kind of Audrey is this season, it's not going to be them. So he is basically telling her they need to come look you know, at the storage facility, and she needs to record it because they need to find out what is in there. But thankfully for her, it's all been cleaned out and the body's been removed. But Noah notices a camera that's been recently installed, so he's like, oh my god, this is probably footage of what used to be in here. This is a great find, and she doesn't want him to take it because she thinks she's probably on that footage, but he takes it anyway. So when he goes back to look at it, literally you can kind of see where Audrey has some crazy tendencies, because she took a bookend and she was going to bash him over the head if there had turned out to be anything implicating her on that video file, and it was actually wiped clean. He couldn't even get into it, and the killer let her know like he covered for her, or he or she. It always sounds like a guy, but it's definitely could be a girl. It was a girl last season, and I still think it's more than one person, and I'd love to know if you agree. Thumbs up if you agree we're going to have more than one killer this season. So Branson was super creepy. I know I said that I thought an adult could be involved this season, and maybe they could be, but he was over the top creepy to me, even though we didn't see him. But his attempts to contact what is her name? Why can't I think of her name? His ex-girlfriend or his ex-fling or whatever, to get back with her, it just seems really strange, really creepy. I don't know. I think it's also crazy that she still thinks that Jake is texting her, and how people kind of can be so stupid to realize that like no one has seen him in a long time, and that's a really, really bad sign, especially from what happened there last year. So I don't know. So we did have a very gruesome murder, and that is the style of the Scream movies and this series. And it was the Crescent Palms motel guy. The killer kind of trapped him in the room, and I think this room is supposed to have been the room that Emma's dad was staying in, but that he had already checked out. But anyway, I think we all saw that coming, and it was super, super gruesome. He was like beat over the head with like a wine bottle and then a wine cork. He was stabbed with a wine cork. But I believe that he was killed because he just knew too much information. And of course that would make you think that Audrey was somehow behind it. We know she wasn't doing it because she was driving at the time, and the killer was calling her and everything because he had lured he had lured Emma up there. I was like, am I calling her the right thing? And I don't know if he was going to do anything to her or not. I keep saying he. Okay, the killer. I don't know if the killer was going to do anything to her or not. Probably not. But thankfully someone was having like a domestic situation, and she kind of got scared and left. And then she saw her dad back to his old ways, and he was beating someone up, and it looks like he was going to get arrested, etc. So, you know, like I was saying with Audrey, the killer is really trying to make her look bad and make her pay for maybe things that she did last season. because they've conveniently put that wine cork in her car and she touches it, and so she has that man's blood all over her and her fingerprints on the murder weapon. So not good for her at all. But again, definitely do not think she's going to be our killer this season. Still have Noah as my #1 suspect, but like, I think that there are 2 killers. Don't know who the other one is. Could be very shocking. I don't think it means that these people have to be best friends or people who even like each other. You know, it could be definitely someone who doesn't even get along that's actually collaborating. So I, at this point, would love to know your thoughts about killer or killers. And I definitely think more of the main people will die. And I'm still hoping that none of the new characters, we saw some more stuff with Eli and the sheriff's son, really hoping they are not the killers, but anything is possible because they went that way in the movies sometimes. So love to hear your predictions. Who is the killer or the killers? Who is going to be the next main character to die? Because that could happen next week, I'm hoping. I think we're in for something really terrible to happen soon. But I will say that I definitely found last season to be scarier, and maybe it was because I would watch it like 1 a.m. when I was binge watching it, and I would watch it on my iPad, but I haven't been scared at all this season. So I would love to know what you think about that. Was it scarier last season, or am I just used to it, or what? But I'm covering all of this season of Scream, so if you're just now seeing this and you love the show, please subscribe, please thumbs up this video. And a side note, I will be doing Pretty Little Liars videos, and I think I've decided to do the live chat. So if you were wondering, because I've been getting some tweets and comments, the answer is yes. So if you need to subscribe for that, or if you'd like to, of course that would make me happy. I can't promise I will love the show, but I can promise that I will be honest. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Kelly TV. We'll be back on schedule with the Scream live chat next Tuesday, so hope to see you there. Bye, guys.